Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Is a Write That Down Wednesday here on the show. Who's fired up?
That's right. Little quarterback there, huh?
That's right. Ready?
Let's get going.
Let's go.
Give me your hard count.
I want to hear Judd's hard count.
Yeah.
I'm not doing a hard count today.
Blue 42.
Yeah. Green
Wide
80.
80.
Green 80.
Green 80.
Green 80.
Wow, that's AJ.
That's impressive. Age.
It's a great hard count by age.
And at home, too. Like, the neighbors are going to call 911 now, but
All right.
that's okay.
Their dog's been barking since 6 a.m. They can.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's personal. It's personal for AJ.
That's the hard count. Just bark like a dog. Hoof, 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 hoof. Get that tackle.
What
to
if you
jump
did
off
that?
sides.
That's not a
Ready,
good idea.
set.
Go on
one
woof.
of those edge rushers.
Don't go on roof. Go on woof.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh man. Well, let's before we get to the accountabilities and the predictions and a quarterback cesspool challenge and some other things, Judd. Let's start the day at Quick Trip here, if we could.
As we do all of the time, and guess why? Because it is the absolute best place to go. You know what? Okay, so it is Wednesday today. You're driving to work, and you're like, I forgot my lunch. What am I going to do? Well, Sports Dad here to the rescue, because Quick Trip is the place to stop in and get lunch. It's a great place to stop in and get a snack. It's a great place to stop in and get anything that you need, because really, it's a grocery store, but it's a convenience store. So you are in and out. Look at that, the coffee right there. And if you do not have time, that is fine too, because put the mobile app on your phone. You can order, you can walk in and walk out with exactly what you want. And I'm not even talking about the quality gasoline guarantee as well. You talk about a winning play. Ladies and gentlemen, I got one for you. It's Quick Trip.
Also, hey, North American Banking Company powers these Write That Down sessions every single week. If you're looking for a better and maybe even more local banking experience, North American Banking Company, founded in Minnesota in 1998. They now have 6 locations across the Twin Cities. And I can tell you, over the past, 12, 15 months or so, getting to know the team at North American Banking Company, it's definitely a more human experience in a good way. It's not just kind of an automated, distant online banking experience. It's nice to know the people and maybe put faces to names of people that help you manage your money. They also prioritize the safety and security of your accounts with cutting-edge online tools. You can find out more at nabankco.com/Mackey. That's nabankco.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Write this down.
So here's how it works. Maybe you are new to Purple Daily. If you are, welcome in. Click that subscribe button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. And or if you could give us a 5-star rating and positive review on Apple and Spotify, it helps continue to grow the best and biggest Vikings fan podcast community in the world, really, because it's fun to see how many people join Ventline from different parts of the world. So if you're new to Write That Down, we are the only show in America that actually puts statistics next to our predictions, unlike all the other sports talkers out there who want you to forget how wrong they are. We highlight how wrong we are on this show. It's 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody each week. They have to be quantifiable in some form. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. A touchdown is something that has like a much lesser chance of happening, a 25% or less chance. And listeners, if you want to be like Tanner and participate shortly as a guest listener predictor, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app. And then don't forget about the OG edition of Write That Down on one of our other podcasts, Mackie and Judd and the Score North YouTube channel. Judd, are you ready to be held accountable?
Well, seeing as how I sign up for this not once but twice every Wednesday, yes, I am.
Okay. A couple things came off the board, and then one that we will highlight.
Okay, that first one not coming off the board is malpractice, not by the man who predicted it.
So your prediction was the Chargers will beat the Dolphins on Sunday, which they did, and Mike McDaniel would be, or is it McDaniel or McDaniels? McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel. Yep.
Singular. Okay.
Yep.
It's Josh McDaniels, Mike McDaniel.
Okay. Yeah. Didn't even think of that, but now I will also thank you for that.
He'll be fired before he coaches another game.
And I get 2 up at the podium, basically throwing his coach under the bus. Like I was running around, pumping my fist like this is 100% going to happen now.
Yeah.
And
And people might say, well, wait, the game hasn't happened. Yeah, but if you're going to fire a coach before a game week, it happens before Wednesday because, like, Wednesday, you got to lock it in and go forward.
It happens when the Titans pulled the plug.
Yeah. Which you said the Titans will fire Brian Callahan before the end of the season, and we're giving you a touchdown for the before the end of the season part because, you know, he's this offensive sort of mastermind that they hired, and I don't think he was on kind of a hot seat going into the season, but for that to happen before the end of the season is enough specificity there. So we'll see. By the way, back to the first prediction. Are the Dolphins and Browns playing each other this week?
Yes.
So you've got some real hot seat action in that game. Stefanski.
Well, especially since Stefanski was asked about Mike Tomlin's comment criticizing the Browns for trading Joe Flacco to the Bengals, and Stefanski, instead of defending his boss, Andrew Berry, said, I have no comment.
Yeah.
And don't forget, Tomlin and Stefanski worked together, at least in the same office, with the Vikings in 2006 under Brad Childress.
They did.
So there's a familiarity there. But yes, I think the Stefanski thing, again, he should want to be fired because he'll get a job.
He will. He might have to be a coordinator first just to, take a beat, but he'll for sure get a head coaching job again at some point. And then we'll highlight this one because a portion of it came off the board. You said Coy Parrish, the star safety for the Gophers, will score 2 or more touchdowns this season. He got his first one. So and you only have 1 to go.
And I got a bad beat there because I think it was a week ago I predicted, coming off that Cal debacle for him, that he would get a touchdown in a particular game. And he picked off a pass, but he didn't house it, right?
Yeah.
But he housed the pass. Is he still playing on offense, though, or has that been abandoned?
I don't know how many. I can't tell you like snap counts, but he caught the first pass of the season, and he only has 4 catches since then. So.
Okay. I feel like they pulled back on that because it became clear it was probably taxing his brain a little bit too much.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to my accountabilities here. This is also kind of a bad beat. They haven't reversed this, right? So Will Reichard, I said, would make at least his first 10 field goals. A lot of people saying it hit a wire. The NFL kind of confirming it hit a wire. But then our guy Thor and some others have done like really deep dive film breakdowns, and they don't think it hit the wire. But either way.
And the Vikings actually, it sounds like sources told somebody that the Vikings during the bye week asked the National Football League to take that off the board and just say he didn't make it, but don't count it as a miss. And the league's like, I think the league said it hit the wire, but we're not going to take it off. It's still a miss.
It's such a weird circumstance. So, because like it is a missed field goal, unless they catch it in the moment, you can't.
How about
go back.
don't have a wire low enough for a field goal to hit it? Maybe because it's the National Football League. It's billions and billions of dollars invested, and yet we're like, oh, sorry, man, ball hit a wire.
It's soccer not ready for prime time. Soccer, the world's sport, but we can't get the fields right to play America's sport the right way. So I also said this. We'll just highlight this one because a portion of it came off. I said by March 1st, Mike McDaniel, Brian Daboll, Dave Canales, and Brian Callahan will all not be with their current team. So 1 down, 3 to go. You got the football coach Grim Reaper knocking on doors here.
I wonder if Brian Daboll might be saved here. I don't think he necessarily should be, but Jackson Dart, I wonder if he might save him.
He's got an interesting fascination with Jackson Dart now. Going into like the injury tent, like, hey, are you good to go? I can't have Russell Wilson take another snap.
Coach, I'm going to the bathroom. Can you please leave?
He's like concussed though. Like they're like, okay, the league cares about concussions, and Brian Daboll's like, just get back out there. Your bell's wrong.
Reaming that doctor.
I know.
Like doctor's like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to see if your quarterback is conscious. But I mean, his main job is to develop Jackson Dart at this point. I think what saves his job is Jackson Dart playing pretty well and the Giants being competitive. And to this point, through 3 games, those are happening. Listeners, Mike said the Vikings will hand the Eagles their first loss, and it'll be a 2-score win. Well, the Eagles are already losing 2 games going into this one here. And then Omar said, this one should have come off the board a few weeks ago, but Omar said Aaron Rodgers will sign with the Steelers and the Vikings will beat Pittsburgh when they play by 10 or more points. So he got the first part, but Rodgers got his revenge on the Vikings. And then Declan said that there'd be a credible report. So there was a report last year that teams were calling on trading for Kevin O'Connell. And Declan said there'd be a credible report about which teams specifically checked in on KOC by week 1. And that I have not seen any specific, hey, it was the Titans that called or whatever.
Forgot all about that. Mm-hmm. That's right. Okay.
It's like, was that Jay Glazer who just came in? He's
yes,
like,
it was at the end of the season, and we speculated it might have been the Bears.
Like on game day. We're
It
second.
was right. It was like the Lions
game.
It was the Lions game. Yeah,
it was the last game of the debacle in Detroit. But yeah, he reported that. But yeah, it didn't get out. Didn't get out. Interesting.
So here's what we have. By the way, the season runs from Super Bowl to Super Bowl. So there's a ton of ground left here. Ton of predictions still to be made. But I've got a pretty healthy completion percentage lead on you guys. 44.7%. Declan 34.1%, Judd 33.3%, listeners 31.7%. Me, Dex, Judd all with 8 touchdowns, listeners with 7. AJ currently still repping the listener category until you build enough sample size for us to make your own category.
And then I'm gonna come in with like a 13% completion rate, just tear
or
it.
like a 70%.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is it might be too high.
That's where like we need some sample size so that you're not 5 for 9 and then boom, Dex comes back for the full week again. So, and then career stats, Declan 36.5% completions. These date back to 2021. I'm at 35%. Judd 34. Listeners just under 25%. Listeners have a touchdown lead narrowly, but with 67 career touchdowns. So there you go.
Write this down.
All right, Age, if you could bring Tanner into the mix here, and we can bump the stats off the screen there too. Tanner, what's going on, man? Welcome into your Write That Down debut, sir.
How's it going? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Tell us, are you like, is that your own? Who do we have?
This is Mallow.
Mallow.
Hi,
Little
Mallow.
Oh.
What a cutie. What a cutie.
I will know that they're alive.
Blink twice, Mallow, if you're alive.
You guys, I mean, dogs just chill, okay? It's like Barney here. He chills.
This Barney, what's Barney doing right now? He's just chilling?
Right here. He sits here, helps me out. It's great. He's my assistant.
I love it. Yeah. So Tanner, is that your closet of like Vikings jerseys? Where are you sitting right now?
It's just my basement man cave.
Nice.
I got a few of the jerseys hanging up.
Yeah, give us a
KJ
tour.
Osborne.
Got KJ Osborne, little Thielen.
Yep. That one's actually signed. The KJ is. We got McCarthy, Harrison Smith, a couple Jeffersons.
Yeah.
There's a Xavier Rhodes down there.
Nice.
Oh, dude, Xavier Rhodes.
Love it.
Man, just a
We got
lockdown.
the signed helmet up here. I actually just won that this weekend.
Nice,
so-
dude. Who signed that?
Tommy Kramer and Ed McDaniels.
Okay.
Yeah. Old Tommy
Nice
Kramer.
throwback.
I actually won it at, if you ever heard of Champions, it's a Packers campground that's owned by Gilbert Brown.
Oh,
And
former
they had,
Viking Gilbert Brown, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't tell him you were drafted by him. He didn't want to hear that. But yeah, they had a Legends weekend. So there was a bunch of Packer players there and they were doing raffles. So I won the helmet.
That's pretty awesome, man. Love the man cave. So yeah, when did you first become a fan? Like what era or what year of Vikings history?
I mean, I really got roped in mostly the 2009 season. Been a Vikings fan for a long time, but really kind of dug in after that. Born and raised in Minnesota. I'm actually from Lanesboro, Judd.
Oh, are you? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Cool, yeah.
Born and
Great
raised in
area.
high school there. So
Great area. Absolutely.
Love it, man. Yeah. So you probably thought, all right, that kind of sucked in 2009, but we're gonna run it back in 2010. Everything's gonna then we're gonna break through.
Sidney Rice is going to be back and better than ever.
And
Oh,
Percy,
wait, no.
yeah, Brett's gonna come back. He's gonna heal that ankle up, and then.
I actually live in Winona right now, so I'm right on Packer border. Yep.
Yeah, you're fending them off down there, man. So, well, we're going to start with your first prediction, Tanner. Then Judd, AJ, and I'll round it out. So we'll make 3 predictions. We'll go around 3 different trips around the room. So the floor is yours.
Write this down.
Tanner, what's your first prediction?
All right, so most of my predictions are going to be for this kind of middle games, the tough 4 that are coming up. Kind of got a good spot here on the show right after the bye. See what's going to happen. But for my first prediction, against the Eagles, they will have an unsuccessful tush push.
The Eagles will or the Vikings?
The Eagles will have an unsuccessful tush push.
Okay.
I think the Vikings will stop them somehow, whether it's, if it's a 3rd and 2 and they don't quite get the first down, I'd say that's unsuccessful. If they maybe finally get a false start or something like that, would be unsuccessful. So.
Yeah.
And if they don't succeed the first time, as we saw in the last game, they'll just keep doing it.
And again,
all I need is 1.
Yeah. They'll just keep doing it. God, that play has to go. That has to go now. It's a non-football. It sucks because here's the thing: this league has done such a marvelous job of creating excitement, right? Like offensive football and stuff. And the Ravens, to me, were the prime offender on Sunday. Mark Andrews under center for a tush push from like the 1 with Derrick Henry in your backfield. That ball has got to be in Derrick Henry's hands.
It's I think it's so tough because to ban the tush push, you have to like quantify what you're banning. It can't just be like you can't do that.
Yeah,
It's gotta
I
be
did
like,
this actually.
What is the rule?
I told Declan.
And the rule is you can't shove an offensive player
from a formation. No, I would leave in the ability if there's a play at the goal line and a guy has run like 50 yards and a guy has him. I say you can blast your teammate from behind to put him into the end zone.
Dalton Reisner coming from 40 yards down.
What I would do is I would outlaw, I would say from a formation you can't push a teammate.
Okay. So could you get around that by moving the formation, doing like a moving formation? Tush push.
No,
so it's gonna be like we're gonna like zone tush push out to the left.
You cannot snap a ball from a formation with a snap. You cannot have a tush push.
Okay.
Because then I can blast a teammate. Like I like that because that's fun. Like if a guy goes flying,
it's kind of jarring when they line up and they'll do this from like the 2-yard line and do it. Like, wait a second. The defense is lined up past, like they're ahead of the goal line. So that play is so effective that they can run it from the 2 and like push the defenders back 2 yards.
But they always jump. It's always a false start now. And it's just, plus the last thing is it's a bad TV play because you can't see jack.
It is hard. I know. But
sorry.
I like the way that because again, it can't just be you can't do that. You need to quantify what you're banning, and so I think you did a pretty good job there.
Thank you very much. This is how I help. Okay, I will. I might be wrong here, but I will take the low hanging fruit of the week. Write this down. Carson Wentz will start on Sunday. We still don't know. They're
both going to speak today at the podium. Are they going to be there together or like separately?
Well, that's
hey guys, hey.
That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious.
Both
but anyway,
on their shoulders in a trench coat, it's just like it's just one quarterback.
Yeah.
This is the old Brad Childress trick.
Did he do this with the podiums?
Yeah.
Like T-Jack
he wouldn't have him go to the podium.
Farrat?
It says in the Vikings release for today, they will both be in the locker room available.
Oh,
no one's going to the podium. That's the old Childress trick.
Oh, okay.
No one at the podium.
But you have to make your starting quarterback available once a week.
Yeah. So
in the absence of announcing who your starter is, you can't. So if you don't know or you don't want to say who your starter is, you can't not send someone. You just have to make 2 guys available and play that game.
Correct. And what if Brosmer is like, hey guys, I'm here too.
Dude, I'm telling you, You've got one quarterback with a banged up shoulder who it feels like Carson Wentz is more hurt than maybe it seems. And you got another guy coming off a high ankle sprain with lower base mechanical issues that they don't feel comfortable with.
Yes, sir.
We are super close to Max Brosmer playing in this game against the Eagles. I'm not saying starting. I don't think they would do that. But like if let's say Carson Wentz starts and they decide, to your point the other day, well, we're not going to make JJ the backup because that would then mean we are officially benching him. If you're going to start Wentz, you would make JJ the emergency 3 and say he's not fully there yet health-wise. But if Wentz takes one big hit on that shoulder, it's Brosmer. It's very close to Brosmer time, is my point here.
I actually trust Brosmer more than 2023 when Jaron Hall started. So,
yeah, I think I agree with that. Yeah,
that's where I land.
Age, what's your first prediction?
I'm going to get in the same boat as Tanner here on the tush push. Write that down. And I will say, write this down. The Eagles will not score against the Vikings using a tush push this weekend.
Okay. Oh, I think the confidence you guys have in the Vikings tush push defense.
Yeah, they're going to lock things down. Brian Flores had a full bye week to figure out how to stop it. They're going to work out something, or they're just going to not let them get inside the 5.
Write this
down.
Yeah. Write this down. The Vikings. I'll do a parlay. Okay. So I'm already on the record saying the Vikings before the Browns game are going to win their next 2 games. So I've got Vikings winning as part of a parlay. I'll make it part of another parlay. I'm very confident the Vikings are going. The Eagles are a broken team. It's not just like 2 or 3 bad weeks. They've been outgained by one of the widest margins of any team in the league. So I think the Vikings are going to continue the Eagles' tailspin. So part 1 of the parlay is Vikings win, and the Vikings will have more rushing yards than the Eagles. People keep expecting, like, oh, this will be the week that their running game finally gets figured out. I don't know. Not so fast, my friends. I don't think it's happening at U.S. Bank Stadium.
The old Corso.
Not so fast, my friends. Yeah.
Where's my pencil?
Tanner, back to you.
Write this down.
All right. My next one involves McCarthy, so I had to switch out to the McCarthy draft hat. For the next 4 games, the Vikings will go at least 2-2, and McCarthy will start at least 2 of those games.
Okay.
Not necessarily the winning games, but he'll start at least 2 of the next 4.
Boy, the controversy when they go 2-0 in their next 2 and then decide after the long week of prep to make the switch to McCarthy, and then they go 0-2 in those games. That would be juicy fodder for Judd Substack, we tell you.
Got that right.
It's positive Phil. Come on.
Got that right.
Positive Phil's not predicting that. Yeah. But I could see negative Judd going down that road.
Write this
I wouldn't be negative. I would
jilted Judd.
It'd be a fact. If they lost both games, it would be a fact that they lost both games.
Yeah.
All right. So one thing I think that's going to happen in practice this week, and O'Connell talked about this on Monday, is there are certain things the Vikings in the first 5 games didn't do well that was within their control. That includes penalties. All right. So write this down. The Vikings will have a season low in penalties on Sunday against the Eagles. Just for reference, their season low was actually the Cleveland game right before the bye. They had 7.
7 is their low?
Oh, they've had 8 a couple times. I believe they had 11. They had double digits against the Bengals, and we didn't talk about it because they won that game so easily. But the Vikings will have a season low in penalties, so 6 or fewer.
That's crazy.
Oh, they're near the top of the league in penalties per game. It's not good.
Yeah, we got to clean that up. Okay.
Write this down.
AJ.
All right. I know there's still some question marks about whether or not he's going to play or how quickly he gets back on the field, but write this down. Andrew Van Ginkel will record a sack in the next game where he plays 10 or more snaps.
Okay.
Because I know he had, 8 snaps a couple weeks ago, but he got 2 sacks or something that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's sustainable, so I'm going to at least bump it up to 10, and he gets at least 1.
Nice.
Okay. He's got a great snap to sack ratio.
He's going to be the defensive start of the play in the 2026 season opener, is what you're saying.
Wow.
I'm just
kidding.
You
want to go on the record?
No. O'Connell actually said he's progressing, which I don't totally trust.
So was Daniil Hunter.
Exactly.
2 years later.
Look, I've told you, I don't need to express my concern. The neck is one thing with football that I absolutely hate talking about.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Write this down. Former Eagle Isaiah Rodgers will be part of a takeaway in this game against his former team. So it'll be kind of a you know it when you see it, but obviously if he picks off a pass, if he scoops up a fumble or causes one,
Punch.
those are straight up. I also would like to include if he tips a pass that gets taken away by somebody else. So he'll be directly involved in a takeaway.
What if his
in this
finger,
game.
like we can't tell, like the pass is like maybe deflected, but we can't. It's just the tip of his finger.
There is a gray area here that I will fight for, and I will consult lawyer Chase if needed.
The wardrobe changes that are going on this show right now are outstanding.
I know
by the way.
Tanner's on his third hat
Write it down. You like writing
for
things
his
down.
third and final prediction.
Tanner, this is good stuff, man.
If Tanner pulls a troll job and like rips off his Viking stuff and unveils Packer things, and then like someone rips down the Vikings jerseys,
It's just
And
a
I would
great.
say this weekend I did get it's a Champions jersey that is Packers colors, and I did get it signed by Gilbert Brown and Eddie Lacy.
wow.
Oh, you had some Packers. That's good, man. That's great.
Are they about the same size? Eddie Lacy and Gilbert Brown.
He hasn't lost any weight, that's for sure. I told Eddie Lacy I've cussed you out from my couch many times.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Gilbert Brown, man. He was God. The fact that Denny cut him in his rookie training camp when he was just, especially in the '90s, Gilbert. I mean, couldn't move him.
Yeah, he became like a huge part of those good Packer teams.
Gravedigger.
Yep.
So yeah. Great sack celebration. All right, Tanner, what's your third and final prediction here?
All right. Well, with the change to this year's draft hat, I'm going to make a prediction for the Bears game, which hopefully we're kind of planning on going to. So my prediction is the Vikings beat the Bears, and McCarthy will be better than Caleb Williams in passing yards, QB rating, and rushing yards.
Wow. Yeah,
So
I think that would be, if that happens, that's a touchdown for sure, right?
Yeah. Because also kind of assuming that he's playing by then too, but
Yeah, which to this point, I mean, if you could just project that he'll play in that game, might actually be a touchdown because he's only played in 2 games. So awesome, man. Tanner, great stuff. Great man cave since you've got this life-altering platform right now on Purple Daily. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out or thank?
yeah, well, I got to thank my wife. She puts up with, me having a basement to myself and having Sundays and buddies over and doing cookouts for the game and stuff like that. And then, my kids, they're really into the one before I die already. So we'll, and then a shout out to the Matts, my buddy Matt G, Matt D, and Matt A. I know they're going to be watching.
Do you have like
Got to expand your friend group a little bit more like a hockey line.
yeah. Do you have a Matt for every first letter of the alphabet last name?
I'm
Or do you have
getting-
have tiers? Do you tier your friend's name Matt into
Matt-
different?
Matt
Well-
F didn't make the cut.
We all just go by our last names at this point. So,
Love it.
and then my cousin Dustin, I know he's a loyal listener. He's gonna be watching this, and it's his son's birthday today too. So happy birthday, Kenan!
Love it, man.
And
Awesome.
thanks to you guys. You're always in my ear at work, and you help pass the time while I'm working. So thank you.
Thank you for the kind words, Tanner. Great predictions, great man cave, and we hope to see you again sometime for another batch of predictions.
Absolutely.
Have fun this weekend watching the tush pushes.
See you, Tanner.
Thanks.
All right, Tanner, our guest listener predictor here. So we're going to make our final predictions. We'll do a quarterback cesspool challenge, and we can talk more about this upcoming game here too. But hey, Running Aces, if you've never been to Running Aces, just up north edge of the Twin Cities, up 35, there's a massive parking lot. There's a hotel. So it's actually, you can either go for a fun night with friends, date night, or you could spend a weekend, part of a weekend. Running Aces just underwent a multi-million-dollar renovation, and it is incredible. This is not your typical casino scene. It's smoke-free, it's bright, it's energy-filled. They've got a ton of upcoming fun events. So in the summertime, they've got the harness racing, which is awesome. Now that we're transitioning into sort of fall, winter, you got bingo, which returned a few weeks ago. BuzzFeed trivia, music trivia on Fridays in the main bar area. Coming up here in a week and a half, it's the return of their comedy shows on October 25th. Tickets at $25 for GA, or they've got a dinner and a show option for $50 a ticket. This is also just an incredible poker room if you're into playing poker, blackjack too. I've spent a lot of hours in my life at Running Aces playing poker tournaments and spread limit. So check them out if you want to learn more. Runaces.com. Judd, old Padres.
Oh.
It was a great spot hosting it was the Dublin game vent line and watch party. That's a great spot in Northeast Minneapolis.
Absolutely is. And here's the thing, though, the sports dad loves about Padres the most, and that is the fact it's going to sound as simple as possible, but it's the best part. They make beer that's just beer. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're not trying to come up with cute beers. They are coming up with beers that are absolutely fantastic. Irish and UK classics being recreated. The Red Chimney, oh my gosh. The Red Chimney, if you have not tried that, you absolutely have to. The Patty's Premium, it's a great session beer, a great beer to enjoy during games. What they do is they use imported Irish and British grain, yeast, and hops. As Phil just said, their location is in the old Land Nod factory at the corner of Broadway and Central Avenues Northeast. Their beer is available in more than 200 liquor stores in the Metro, Rochester, and Mankato. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, or check out their website, Padregs.com. Padregs, if you have not tried it, if you love beer like the sports dad loves beer, you gotta give it a try.
If you love soda or pop, depending on how you say it here in Minnesota, let me introduce you to Pepsi. You ever heard of Pepsi? It's this crazy new soda. Yeah, I know, right? So Pepsi has created these Justin Jefferson souvenir cups that you can see on the YouTube channel pretty much every day here. You can get these cups at Buffalo Wild Wings now in the Twin Cities. They just became available at B-Dubs, I think last week or the week before. When you order 12 wings of any style, you get one of these Justin Jefferson souvenir cups. So go in, get some wings, 12 wings any style. Buffalo Wild Wings is the preferred sports bar of the Minnesota Vikings, and Pepsi is the official beverage of the Minnesota Vikings. On these cups, there's a QR code. You scan it, and you can enter to win Victor's Ride, a Polaris 1000 ATV that they will drive right up the driveway of the winner's home, and they will drop this thing off. So courtesy of Pepsi, grab one of these cups inside Buffalo Wild Wings when you get 12 wings of any style.
Write this down.
Is Victor like checking out the like it's like he's like checking it out, like
Making sure the brakes work.
Yeah, it's like he's like looking at it.
Steering's a little bit loose. Like, gotta fix that front axle.
I'll fix this.
Victor's a great mechanic. Victor, multi-talented guy.
He might tell you that too.
Award-winning classical musician. I'm not sure if you guys do that.
Just ask him. He might tell you. I told you. Talks.
He's like Ben Stiller from Happy Gilmore. Like once you get in one-on-one behind closed doors, you never know what he's gonna say. Crazy.
You're my world now, Grandpa.
Judd, I think you're up next here with your final prediction. Fire away.
I will end this with a quarterback prediction that has nothing to do with J.J. McCarthy or Carson Wentz, but it's inevitable. Justin Fields will be benched by the Jets between now and their November 23rd game against Baltimore. So he
you're giving him that long?
So I'm going to give him that long. Well, I was looking at their schedule. They got a bye week worked in here. I believe they played Carolina on Sunday. I mean, they'll probably lose that game as well. But I'm going to give him that long, but just for clarification, so he won't play in that game. So the November 23rd game will be a game that he will not play in. But he will be benched at some point here. After a reporter basically asked after the last game, he said Fields didn't play well or something, and the coach got all upset at the question, and like the next day came back and said, yeah, he didn't play that well.
Dude, Aaron, I think Aaron Glenn's in over his head, man.
Yeah,
like
he's
super weirdly chippy with the media.
It's a bad market for him.
Even the way that they handled Aaron Rodgers has kind of dug his own issues with his play and he just kind of bounces around. But for them to fly Aaron Rodgers out, if you believe 100% of Aaron's story, and then Aaron Glenn just kind of weirdly tells him on the spot, like, yeah, we're just going to move in a different, and Aaron's like, this is weird. Why am I here? You could have just, I live in California, guys.
Yeah.
What's that? The whole thing's been weird.
But what's weird too is, why do the Giants and Jets hire coaches? They hire coaches like they are hiring a coach in I don't know, a smaller market. It's just very odd. Like, you got to have somebody who can handle the market. Like, Aaron Glenn might be a good coach someday, but okay, he's a really chippy dude. He's a DC. He's never been a head coach before. And the Jets, who are just, the Jets, they're terrible, but they're just going to hire him, and it's like, this is going to work.
You need a big, experienced personality
Yes.
in that market. And it's not even like just the media and the market. The owners react to those things, and then they get all nervous and stuff, especially the Jets. So that's where like a Mike McCarthy would be a perfect fit for one of those teams. I know people like kind of use him as a punchline, but all he does is win 12 games pretty much everywhere he goes. And he's a mature adult who understands offense, and he can fend off sort of hot button questions from the media.
Right.
Yeah. It's a weird deal. Okay, AJ, what's your
Write this down.
third and final prediction?
My third and write that down is going to be Justin Jefferson will have a TD streak, a touchdown streak of at least 3 games before the end of the season. I think they're gonna have to get back to him. Like, he's just too good of a player to ignore. What? He has 1 touchdown this season. Bye week feels like a good way to kind of get those kinks out. Yeah. Wow, 18 hasn't found the end zone in a while.
Gritty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I haven't been able to gritty yet, and probably for good reason. I shouldn't be doing that to begin with, but yeah, touchdown streak, 3+ games.
And can we please, the entire league, just close circuit? Quit grabbing your hamstring as part of a celebration. It's not funny. It's bad luck. It's there's nothing about it that's cute. Like, the gritty's great. But why does it have to start with acting like you just strained your hamstring?
And I feel like we've had a couple where there actually have been strained hamstrings
Jalen
around
Ramsey
the end zone.
Did that with the non-touchdown. He did that, and then later in that game, hurt his hamstring.
And then and if you're a trainer, you're just looking over there for 20 minutes wondering, I don't think he's still celebrating. Is he celebrating? I don't know what's happening.
Why is he yelling in pain now?
You're just tempting the football gods. Like,
yes, sir.
I have this perfectly healthy hamstring. It'd be a shame if something happened.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I'm kind of with. It is kind of a boomer take, but I'm with.
Write this down.
I am.
Well, I don't mind the celebrations. I just don't like and plus now it's widespread, so it's not creative now. It's just like copycat stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
Same with the gritty, by the way. It's been like 6 years,
and a lot of guys
6 years is too long for Jefferson. Okay, it's kind of yours, or in Jamar Chase, it's like an LSU thing.
Right.
Beyond that, let's come up with the next thing. Let's innovate a little bit here. Write this one down. I'm going league wide. I'm going beyond the Vikings here. I'm going to go on the record right now. This was one of my hot takes on Hot Take Tuesday O-line committee yesterday, and I'm going to put it in write that down form right now. So it's not a hot take. This is a spoiler. Write this down. The New England Patriots are going to win their division. The Patriots are going to win the AFC East.
They're in first right now?
They're in first. They have a tiebreaker over the Bills because they already beat the Bills.
Yep.
And if you look at their schedule, it is pretty incredible. So they came in with one of the weakest schedules on paper because, they had a bad record last year.
Mm-hmm.
They play at Tennessee this week, and maybe Tennessee pops up like, we just fired our coach, we're going to try hard type of thing. But it's also a Mike Vrabel revenge game, so I think that offset. Does the Mike Vrabel revenge game offset
and the
Titans trying for their new coach?
And the Titans are a mess. Yes.
He ain't losing that game. And then it's home against Cleveland. Atlanta, Tampa Bay are going to be tough ones.
Mm-hmm.
Home against the Jets, at a Joe Burrow-less Bengals team, home against the Giants. And then you get Buffalo and Baltimore probably with Lamar Jackson back, so those are going to be tough. But you finish the season against the Jets and the Dolphins. They're tracking for 11 wins, and they have a tiebreaker over the Bills, and the Bills just have looked a little bit rickety lately. You can run the ball down their throats. So I'm going on the record right now, middle of October, saying Patriots win that division.
Coach of the year is done then, right?
Oh, God. Yeah.
Like, that's a done deal.
Totally.
Take it to the bank.
Titans should probably hire that guy.
In the Chiefs 2-3 start, did we lose sight of the fact that it might be the Bills who are going to take a step back? And this is a question. This is not a hot take, okay? I'm just saying it feels like the Bills have some flaws that we probably didn't talk a lot about because the shiny object of failure to us is, oh my God, the Chiefs might not be as good as they have been.
Yeah, I mean, the Bills' defense, they've just gotten gashed on the ground. And,
Right.
It is possible to fix that going into November and December. Maybe they make a trade or just find a way schematically. But yeah, it's kind of wild how bad they've looked defensively. And the Patriots, dude, Mike Vrabel, I know he hasn't won a championship as a coach, but it wasn't that long ago. It was like 5 years ago that Mike Vrabel had a Tennessee Titans team with Ryan Tannehill as the starting quarterback. 10-point lead in the AFC Championship game over the Chiefs. And then the Chiefs came back and won that game. But that dude can coach his ass off. So Patriots winning the AFC East is my
Write this down.
There
prediction.
you have it.
Do you guys want to hunt for some bad quarterbacks?
Hold your water.
Well, I think we have to ask the question, first of all. Is AJ being allowed to hunt for bad QBs, or has he again been given directions from Declan, who, by the way, bristled at the suggestion that we were suppressing, or that he was suppressing age as far as the QB Cesspool challenge goes.
Wow. Did this come up on like Feedback Friday, or
Yeah.
where was this bristling?
I think it was Feedback Friday, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Age.
Feedback Friday. And,
He got very defensive.
as I think he should be. He's earned the right to choose his
no.
bad quarterback every single week, whether he's in or out of paternity leave. But yeah, you confronted him, and there was a little bit of pushback both ways, and it was a tug of war of words. But I think we've moved on and grown as humans.
Oh, I haven't
Okay.
one bit. No.
So
no.
with that said,
I'm
what
fixated on this,
what
guys.
percentage of the pick this week is Declan making it versus AJ joining by committee?
11 o'clock on the nose last night. Cesspool options tomorrow in order.
Oh, in order. Okay.
And I have 3 names.
Okay.
That's the text I received.
So here's how it works. Every week we celebrate bad quarterback play in the NFL. I'll be honest, I feel like there's always a handful of kind of backup caliber guys that are out there, but there's a lot of good quarterback play happening this season in the NFL. So it's been a little bit of a landmine in this game. But every member of the show drafts a quarterback each week that we think is going to be bad. Once you draft that quarterback, you can't use him again the rest of the year. So once you fire your Spencer Rattler bullet or Cam Ward or whatever it is, you can't use them again. So there's some strategy here. And then all of us have to pick different quarterbacks each week. So there's strategy involved on that level too. The scoring is just ESPN's QBR on a 0 to 100 scale. And last week, Judd picked up his first weekly
Thank
win of
God.
the year
Thank you, Lord.
with Cooper Rush. Yeah. A 23.8 QBR for Cooper Rush. Baltimore Raven Cooper Rush, that is.
Oh, Jackson Dart bit you in the ass, Mackie.
Declan with Dylan Gabriel. Nice little week for him. 33.6 QBR. And yeah, I took Jackson Dart against the Eagles thinking, all right, Eagles are going to buck up in this game. And Jackson Dart was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. A 90 QBR. By the way, AJ, we're keeping track of when AJ differs from what Declan would do. We keep track of that. You wanted Joe Flacco after being correct the previous 2 weeks. Declan had you this time around. Joe Flacco had a 68.5 QBR. The worst quarterback in week 6 league-wide was Justin Fields. Sacked 9 times in, was it London?
I got to use
and he
him
had
soon.
a 9 QBR. So,
I'm gonna have to use him soon.
Yeah, that's going to be off the board. And then who's their backup? Taylor? Terod Taylor?
Yeah.
is it Trod Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're probably anyone who would just get rid of the ball. We broke those down. We did a film breakdown on O-line committee yesterday of the 9 sacks. And those guys are a little biased, but they did put 3 of the 9 sacks on the quarterback and took protection credit for 6 of the 9 sacks.
Oh, no.
How about having minus 10 net yards passing?
It's amazing.
It's worst in Jets history.
Yeah.
And think about what I just said.
And that includes like the 60s and the 70s when it was way harder to pass the ball.
But I mean,
With,
the
like,
Jets
old Joe Namath.
and the Jets have had this is not a proud franchise.
Yeah, they've had some really bad quarterbacks. That's quite the accomplishment by Justin Fields. So on the season here, in terms of weekly wins, I have 4. Judd has 1. Declan has 1. In terms of average QBR for the entire season, I'm at 37.2. Judd at 43.9. Declan at 49.1. AJ, if he was allowed to pick with who he wanted, would be 2-1 over Declan for the weekly head-to-head between the producers, not to create drama here. I'll flash on the screen for you guys to see. These are the quarterbacks that we've all picked here for the YouTube audience, and then we'll make our picks here for Week 7. We go in reverse order of last week's results, so I get the first pick, Declan/AJ get the second pick, and then Judd, you're going to back clean up with the third pick.
Okay.
All right. So I wish I could fully talk this through, but I'll wait till the end to see if there's any controversy. But I've got two options here that I'm just flipping a coin on. Because I don't think I've used either one of these guys yet. I already used Cooper Rush is off the board. So
Cooper Rush 2 weeks ago and got a win.
Two very mediocre to meh quarterbacks on the road against tough defenses. But I think it's such a disaster right now in Miami. I'm gonna go Tua at the Browns.
That's a great pick.
Give me Tua at the Browns here with the franchise teetering over the edge of crumbling into the sea.
Tua screwed me at Buffalo.
Yeah, he
absolutely
62.7 there. But Buffalo, I feel like Cleveland's defense is much more stout than Buffalo's.
Well,
we'll find out, I guess.
The QBR also is weird. Like if you watch a game at times, you're like, okay, this is great. This is great. This is bad enough. And then it's like a 60. It's like, what was that?
Yeah, I know. It's we don't know what the formula. They've never like unveiled their formula to us.
That's true. That's true.
It's kind of guessing. All right, so Declan/AJ. You guys get the next one.
I'm at because of that pick. Because of that pick, I actually have a consensus now with Declan. Had I had a pick of the litter, Tua would have been my guy. I think they're going to be I think he's going to be terrible this week. But Declan is going to go with Cam Ward, the rookie down in Titanville.
Damn it!
Against the Patriots, right? Yeah.
That's what I want.
That's a good pick.
I think that's at home though, which is the only like downside to there. But still, Patriots have been pretty good defensively this year.
Yeah, and it's a defensive coach in Vrabel who's going to want revenge. Like that was going to be my pick because I've been trying to save Cam Ward for a special occasion,
and this is the week.
And I thought this was a special occasion, and Declan and AJ sniped me. Don't like either of you right now. Okay.
All right, so you're on the clock there, Judley.
Thank you very much. I am on the clock, and I am going to use a guy that is going into what appears to be now a fairly hot Kansas City team. They're back, Arrowhead, and it's going to be one of the great rivalries from the AFC days, the 1960s when football was football. It's going to be the Raiders against the Chiefs, and I'm not taking Patrick Mahomes. No. I am taking Geno Smith.
He was the other side of my coin on the coin flip. Geno
It's been
Smith
a rough year for him. Man. It's been very rough. Seattle clearly saw something like now because I like him or I liked him, and I thought, you know what? I mean, the Seahawks pulled the plug there pretty quickly, but the upgrade from Geno Smith to Darnold is clear, and I'm going to hope that Geno Smith continues to have a rough season.
Yeah. And sorry, AJ, you guys were in alignment on Cam Ward, or were you going in a different direction if it was just AJ picking?
If your pick didn't affect me, I would have gone Tua, but because Tua was taken off the board, my second option was Cam Ward, which lines up with Declan's first choice.
Okay, I'm just going to add a note that says AJ these aligned for the first time in a month.
The stars.
That sort of stinks, Age. Like, it's much more fun when you would have done something different, but Declan's overbearing personality didn't allow you.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Make sure you clip this so he can hear that. Make sure you clip this, okay?
Wow. Overbearing,
Declan will take that personal. Declan will take that
aggressive personality.
Yep.
Suddenly, Sonny's able to watch himself for a few hours a day, and Declan's back next week.
Judd, let's talk about. Listen, guys, no reason to be embarrassed. There's solutions out there for all your problems, and Rougiette can be one of those solutions.
That's exactly right. And look, guys. ED happens when there's not enough blood flow, often combined with a decreased arousal signals from your brain. It's not about your age. It's not about your competitive edge going away. It's biology, and it's treatable. Rougiette is the 3-in-1 ED treatment that actually prepares you for the moment, designed to prime your brain boost your blood flow and start working in as little as 15 minutes, up to a 36-hour active window, ready when you are. Go to Rugiet.com, that's Rugiet.com, and get your game plan from a licensed ED doctor. Use the promo code PURPLE at checkout for a special offer. Treatment ships discreetly to your door. That's Rugiet.com, Rugiet, promo code PURPLE.
Hey, Roku TV, the official TV of Purple Daily here. And this is one right behind me here is one of the 3 Roku TVs we have in the Mackey household. And right now it's acting as essentially wall art. You can just put the, look at this, put the Score North logo on there. You can flip it over here to, what's the next one? Little Fran Tarkenton and Bud Grant holding a football together.
I think that's a great picture.
Yeah, there's more where that came from too.
Interesting.
So you think like Roku TV is great for watching sports, movies, finding the entertainment that you want, hanging out with family and friends at the end of the day, and maybe gathering around for a big football game. But you can also turn it into wall art, which I don't even know if that's like part of the copy necessarily, but it's how I'm using this TV in this room right now. It's kind of cool. I know, but I just wanted to point it out. The Roku TV in our living room is the thing that connects us after a long workday or a long week too. So, and if you haven't checked out the Roku channel yet, tons of free TV channels, hit series, documentaries, movies, etc. Better TV for everyone with Roku, America's #1 streaming platform. Go to Roku.com or shop at a retailer near you. And then one more shout out before we talk more, looking ahead at this Eagles game here. Minnesota Rusco has been Minnesota's hometown remodeler since 1955, and they're celebrating, if you do the math on that, 55 to 2025, 70 years of experience in helping people with remodels, windows, doors, siding, bathrooms, kitchens, decks, roofing. And as part of that 70-year celebration, they're offering throughout the month of October 70% off all labor on everything they sell. So everything I just said, bathrooms, kitchens, windows, etc. What's that project you've been thinking about? You've been putting it off. You've been talking about with your significant other. Right now, you get 70% off all labor on everything Minnesota Rusco sells, and you'll pay no monthly payments and no interest until 2027. So take advantage of this 70th anniversary sale. Go to MinnesotaRusco.com. If you're looking to make your remodel a reality, go to MinnesotaRusco.com. Serving Minnesotans since 1955. So I just looked this up because I remember a couple weeks ago it was bad news for the Eagles, and it is still. If you strip away all other things, all other stats, and you just look at net yards per play. So how many yards do you gain as a team per play, and how many yards do you give up per play? And it's usually a really good measurement of who the best teams in the NFL are at the end of any season. There's some outliers here and there because obviously if you're outgaining a team on a regular basis or your opponents, but you turn the ball over all the time, then okay, it negates some of the yardage. Or if you're really bad or good in the red zone, there are other factors that can sway it. But at the end of the day, football is about gaining yards and preventing the other team from gaining yards. And at the top of that list this season, just net yards gained per play, offensively versus defensively. The top 10 includes the Broncos, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Colts, who are off to a ridiculous start. The Bills are still in here, the Packers. The Vikings are actually like 12th, so not a total disaster for the Vikings in that category. At the bottom of the list, the worst teams in the NFL with the biggest gaps between how much they're gaining versus giving up. The Bengals are 32nd, not shocking. The Titans, who just fired their coach, are 31st, not shocking. A few other teams here in the bottom 10 are like the Jets, the Dolphins, the Saints, the Cardinals, the Raiders, the worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
But third from the bottom, 30th in the NFL in net yards per play, the Philadelphia Eagles. They profile as one of the worst teams in the NFL. Despite starting 4-0 and 4-2, they haven't been able to run the ball. They haven't been able to stop the run. There's all sorts of, infighting and chemistry issues and A.J. Brown drama, although they won a Super Bowl with some of that last year too. So How do you guys like kind of wrap your heads around this Vikings-Eagles game? Because on one hand, they're the defending champs. They've got a loaded roster on paper. They still have Saquon Barkley, and in theory could like bust out that running game if they figure it out, starts to click.
Yep.
They're still the Eagles. They're 4-2, but they profile as one of the worst teams in the league through the first month and a half of the season.
So, in some ways, it is a replica of a year ago because if you guys recall, they were 2-2, and all hell was breaking loose. Sirianni was going to be fired. He was on the hot seat. And they came back, and I think if you look at it through the Super Bowl, they lost like one more game the rest of the season. So that's the parallel. The difference here is offensively. So a year ago, things were a little bit off the tracks. But at the end of the day, I think that Kellen Moore, who's now the head coach of the Saints, proved that he is a good OC. And he got it back on track. Barkley had a marvelous season. It felt like they were more of a mess from psychologically from that standpoint. Like there was more infighting. A.J. Brown is, I would say he's a mercurial fellow, but the difference is this year, so Kellen Moore goes to the Saints, and they promoted a guy by the name of Kevin Patillo. And Kevin Patillo's offense has not been good. And we are now to the point of Sirianni is defending him at the podium, which is always the kiss of death. I mean, if the Eagles have another bad offensive showing on Sunday against the Vikings, I think we're going to have talk about an OC change there because it might not be fair, but it's Philadelphia and fans and the media turn on you very, very quickly. So what I'm curious is if I am correct on this. So the Eagles last played on a Thursday night game a week ago Thursday against the Giants. So they do have the mini bye week to try to get things right, which could help them. All of that being said, if you are the Vikings, this is an advantageous time to get them because if they do get things settled like they did a year ago in a month or so, they're going to be very, very tough. So my question is this. Can Brian Flores exploit the weaknesses? Can the Eagles continue to not have the type of play calling or decision making that they need? So I do think that this is a very good time to get them. But a year ago, we also started to write them off, and we're all wrong about that. So I am on the fence here. But I do think the fact that a young or a new OC is struggling is something that a coaching staff can exploit.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Age.
I was going to say, it feels like a game where it springboards one of three narratives. You either beat this team that is the big, bad, Super Bowl champs that on paper, like Phil was just talking about, have a lot of weaknesses and are very beatable. And if the Vikings can come out after this bye week and through all the things that they've battled through injury-wise, you missed your wide receiver 2 for the first 3 weeks of the season, and you're kind of at 3-2, fighting for your life, essentially. You propel yourself to now 4-2. 4-2 looks a lot different than 3-3. Like that is that would be massive for just the narratives moving forward, and beating this team would, I think, put a lot of people's headspaces. And you know what? Now they're kind of coming out of the woods. You expect some guys to get healthy. Defense should get better. You expect to get because Donovan Jackson should be back for sure. He's back. So like you're getting out of the woods, and then you can kind of use that as a springboard to propel the rest of the season of. This team actually is what I think a lot of people expected at the beginning of the year, which is a pretty solid football team, no matter who is the quarterback, whether it's your rookie who missed last season or it's the journeyman who's now on his 6th team. If you lose, then it's okay. Things are probably going to be really rough the rest of the way. And then there's like that middle ground of they lose, but they were competitive and, maybe a couple bounces don't go their way. But a win, I think, would massively just boost the morale coming out of a bye week where through the first 5 weeks of the season for this team has been felt like they've kind of been running through mud.
I mean, I think a couple things. One, this is a game that on the schedule before, when the schedule was printed back in May, and then even like right before the season, this is a game you were probably supposed to lose if you're the Vikings. They were not likely to be favored at any point going into this game. But the way the season's played out, you're catching the Eagles at this weak point and a really important point too, which they could either snap out of and go back to being the Eagles, or you could take advantage of them being down right now and win a game that you have a chance to steal one that you weren't necessarily supposed to. And you could either look at that as making up for the Steelers or Falcons game. I don't think you were ever going 5-0 before the bye, but we talked about 4-1 was a distinct possibility, and then the injuries happened. So you could kind of get one back and get back on track with the 4-2 record that maybe leads to 10 or 11 wins. I also think, just straight up, the Vikings are a better team than the Eagles if they get a couple healthy guys back right now. Again, this isn't last year's Eagles or the year before Eagles. Last year's Eagles averaged 180 rushing yards per game. And Saquon Barkley went over, was it 2,200 yards, including playoffs, or like 2,300? Just insane historical run game output. So 180 yards per game on the ground last year. They're averaging 95 rushing yards a game this year. Mm-hmm. So it's not the same team to this point. And it also shouldn't be a shock that a guy that had crazy usage, you've only seen usage like that of a running back in the last 20 years, a small handful of times. And 50-50, maybe even more often than that, the next year is really tough for that running back, physically, everything. Mm-hmm. So, famous last words here. Watch it all click and they figure it out and they run for 200 yards right down the Vikings' throat, just like Bijan Robinson did. But right now, I don't think if there is a gap between the Eagles and Vikings, I actually think it's the Vikings are a better team than the Eagles right now. If they get a couple guys, if Cashman's back, if Donovan Jackson's back.
How confident are you guys that this? I'm sure from the Philadelphia media perspective, they're maybe looking at this as everything they know that you just mentioned about the run game. They're viewing this against the Vikings as like a get right game for Saquon Barkley. Like, how confident are you that Brian Flores, with the bye week now, has been able to maybe work out some of the lacks of the run defense, and that they're going to be able to limit him, even though we know how prolific he can be on the ground?
I'm actually more concerned about him in potentially the screen game as well, because the one thing about seeing him with the Giants a couple of years ago is the all-around type of style he brings. Now, that being said, I think one thing that's important to talk about as well when it comes to what's wrong potentially with the Eagles is their offensive line is not the same. They've had injuries, just like the Vikings. They've had injuries. The interior has not been as good. Like there's a case to be made that part of the Saquon Barkley regression is that offensive line kicked some ass a year ago, and they're not doing that now. So, but Saquon Barkley would always scare me. But that being said, I do think that you are looking at a chance for your defense to make some potential hay here, because you're not talking about the 2024 Eagles offensive line.
Yeah. We'll do a lot more on this game. Obviously, we got Thursday tomorrow. We got Feedback Friday. We'll make our official picks on Saturday. And there's an injury report coming out later on this Wednesday, too, that will give us more context for what the Vikings are going to have available that they maybe didn't a couple weeks ago. But, yeah, that's a wrap on our Write That Down Wednesday episode here of Purple Daily. AJ filling in for Dex, the sports dad Judd, and I'm Phil. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. Come on, guys.